Shush.
Hey.
Allison, shut up. Hello.
We're back.
There's a dog below us.
Alright, you actually need to post this, like, soon, though. Because it will only be relevant, like, this month.
This one actually may end up going up before the Halloween one, because the Halloween one I have to edit a lot. I have a lot of videos that are backlogged.
Not up yet.
This one's probably going to come out fairly soon because
Christmas.
yeah, and it's the movie we watched was Krampus, which is only really relevant.
Right,
around
which I was
Christmas.
really looking forward to. I actually really wanted to do Krampus for a while, and I was waiting for December to do it. Like I said back in November, in the middle of November, when you're over in December, we have to do Krampus.
Yeah.
I was really excited about it. I have a lot of backlogged videos. This one will probably end up going up first. Then I have an announcement video that I'm going up explaining why I was backlogged and some other things that are going on in my life right now, including a novel. And then I've started editing videos, so I pretty soon should be uploading regularly again because school will be done and the job will be quieting down and I won't be tired all the time.
Yes, you will.
So Krampus.
Krampus. So, let's do. Should we do
Synopsis first.
synopsis first? Okay. So, rough synopsis is there's a kid named Max, and Max is kind of like the only kid in his one in his family who has a lot of Christmas spirit.
He's like 8.
Yeah.
too.
The rest of the family just kind of like.
He's a young kid. He's like 8 or 9 or whatever. And he's super into Christmas the way 8 and 9-year-olds are, and he's also the youngest in the family, and the rest of his family's just, they're older and like tired of it, and
Like his cousins are kind of jerks.
Yeah,
his
no, right.
sister doesn't care. His sister just wants to go to her boyfriend's house.
yeah, his sister's a teenager, so
Yeah, his parents and like the aunt and uncle who are coming over, like they don't necessarily get along because like the aunt and uncles are more like rednecks. So it's just kind of like family conflict because family members are different. And Max is the only one who's feeling any real Christmas cheer. No one else is. So,
and they get into a fight at dinner, and Max ends up ripping up his letter to Santa, and that summons Krampus, who's a Christmas demon.
Yes.
Who we'll get into. And Krampus comes, and they go through hell, and then
he punishes family.
and then we'll talk about the ending.
The ending. So, you want to do backstory first? Like what's
Yes,
Krampus?
let's talk about Krampus.
Okay, so
By which I mean Lizzie will talk about Krampus.
Alright, let me pull up the Wikipedia page.
Not just because I'm Jewish, but also because she just knows more about mythologies than
Yeah,
I do.
I just really like folklore. Krampus is essentially, he's Germanic. He's found in like Austria on Wikipedia, from the Wikipedia page. Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary.
German and Germanesque.
Yeah, so Germanic. He's a Germanic demon where for Christmas you have Santa, you have Saint Nick, and Saint Nick comes and he brings rewards for the children. Krampus, in these places that are believe in Krampus, he is a demon helper of Santa. Yes, those exist. Krampus is not actually the only one. There's like a surprisingly like large amount of like Christmas demons.
I feel like I'd be way more into Christmas if we talked about the Christmas demons more.
Yeah. It's like, it's weird. There's just like a bunch of Christmas demons. They were like a thing for some reason.
Well, we know the reason.
Yeah, to punish children.
Well, not just that. It's because Christmas was an absorbing of the winter solstice pagan faiths,
Yeah.
and that had a lot more, a lot.
So yeah, Krampus if you really went back, Krampus was probably like, yeah, he's probably like based on the horn god. He's probably just like a pagan
Right.
deity, got absorbed and became a demon. So, so while Santa's going around rewarding the good children, Krampus comes to punish the bad children, and how he punishes them varies by like how like some say he like kidnaps them and brings them to hell. Others he just like brings like whips and beats the bad children. So like it basically alternates between he beats or he kidnaps bad children.
Okay.
Anyway,
I just make sure my dog wasn't eating something bad.
So
But
that's
he just took my brother's backpack.
Krampus.
So that's
Krampus
fine.
is the Christmas demon who punishes bad children while Santa rewards the good.
Yes. So it's not. This was something we talked about with my sister because she watched the end of it. Demon here doesn't necessarily mean something that's pure evil and entirely bad. Krampus is actually a good entity. He's just stricter than Santa.
Yeah. What I was saying before Marta, Dimitri's sister, is in modern days we have a lot of demons who aren't necessarily like associated with like the Christian God. Like we just have like pure evil entities that a lot of times are like super powerful. Like it's next to impossible to defeat them and stuff like that. And that's not what demons really were folklorically. One, they were very closely tied to Christianity, and two, they weren't all that powerful. So demons like could steal your soul and they could trick you, but they could only do that by your own consent. Like a demon couldn't tempt you unless you allowed yourself to be tempted. Like a demon can't take your soul unless you let them take your soul. And the good forces were always more powerful than them. So an example I used is the Christian version of the Book of Job, where Satan is Satan, the devil, Lucifer, evil. He can only hurt Job because God is allowing him to do it. Satan does not have powers that outweigh the powers of God. Satan cannot do anything that God or the person he's attacking does not allow. He's not that powerful. And Krampus can't do anything except by the behest of Saint Nicholas. Krampus works for Saint Nicholas. He's not his own entity. He's not doing this of his own accord. He is Santa's helper as much as the elves are. So, because of this, like...
You want to talk about the ending now?
Yes.
Okay, so the ending of the movie, this is where I get to talk again, because this is my channel.
Yeah.
The movie ends, there's a bunch of toys that come to life, and we'll talk about, the details of the movie in a minute. We're going to talk about the ending first, because it's something we really want to get to. Evil things come to them, torture them, and then throw them all in hell. And at the end, after everyone's thrown to hell, they wake up on a Christmas morning. Everything appears to be normal. No one seems to remember anything. And then Max gets one of the presents, the Krampus bell that his grandma had shown him before. And everyone starts to remember, and they pan out and show them in a snow globe and a bunch of other snow globes with other houses. And while they pan out,
you're basically in Krampus's workshop,
right? And the song.
All right, the song that's playing during the scene. So a lot of people interpret this scene as they're trapped in hell, like they're trapped in the snow globe for all eternity. Like Krampus took them, brought them to hell, and now this is their hell. Is just trapped with each other for all eternity in the snow globe. But yes, really, it's not that bad hell if you ask me.
Right, that was my argument for this. People think that that's hell, and this is just the movie's the movie's depiction of hell. But we'll get to what the further argument is. But my argument for this initially is they wake up to a perfect Christmas morning.
Yeah.
That's
they're not
hell.
fighting anymore. Like it's all very friendly, which I guess like
it's a white Christmas, but the power's still on. They're all happy. Like they're not being punished anymore.
I guess like the argument could be like it's an ironic punishment because like they all like hated each other like the night before, but like they don't hate each other anymore. Like the families fight, that happens, but they didn't even we talked about this too. They didn't even hate each other during the movie. Yeah, they just fight.
They fought a lot, but they were all also like trying not to fight so much because they wanted to be there with each other. And as soon as something happened that threatened everyone wanted to protect each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I don't care if my cousin gets eaten. Like, oh my god, my cousin's in danger. I want to make sure she's okay.
And like one mother would like hand her child off to like the aunt and be like, go with your Aunt Samantha, like she'll keep you safe. Like,
right. And the redneck uncle was like, I'm going out to find your daughter.
And like the father went out with him and like they went out together to find the daughter. Like
right. Like once they had the normal family like fighting stuff during Christmas, but as soon as there was actual danger, that was immediately dropped. Like an actual family in danger would.
Like, because you don't get along with everyone in your family all the time. Like, they're just different people from you, and you're going to fight because that's what people do. But, like, you do care about each other.
I don't even get along with you all the time.
Yeah. Like, you and Allison fight, but, like, if she was being stolen... you wouldn't do fucking shit. You wouldn't care. If you were a better person.
If I was a better person.
For the sake of this argument...
No, we've done things before. Allison and I fight a lot. We used to fight a lot. But there were bullies on the bus that were picking on Allison, so I would sit next to her on the bus so they couldn't bother her. we would fight while I did that, but I'd fuck up anyone who touched her.
So that's kind of like the thing. Like, they feel like a real family. Their conflict feels real. Like, it feel like the cousins picking on Max feel like cousins picking on their younger cousin. Like,
Right.
this is all normal.
None of
family
it's
stuff.
Overly malicious.
So that's one reason why Dimitri says it doesn't make sense as hell, because like it's not hell. Like Christmas morning isn't hell.
Yeah.
Like can't
It's
be.
the perfect Christmas. It's the perfect when you think
It's
of
not even
Christmas
like they
morning.
wake up and they're fighting. Like they wake up and they're passing around like mugs of like what I can only assume is either eggnog or hot cocoa. Like
It's the
They're-
sitcom picturesque Christmas morning that you get from a postcard. Like, there's nothing wrong with this.
no. It's like the perfect amount of snow outside. Like the gifts are all great. Like nothing about this is hellish at all. Like,
Yeah, everyone's like, how'd you sleep? Like
the meanest thing that happens is like his sister is like took you long enough to wake up. Like
yeah.
like the aunt makes a comment about how she's hungover. Like the alcoholic aunt makes a comment about how she's hungover. Like that's the start and end of the conflict of this Christmas morning. Is the sister makes an older sister snarky comment and the aunt is hungover from too much eggnog from the night before. Like
And
that's,
one of them I'm not surprised and it's a stuffed squirrel.
yeah.
And that's it.
And it's like it's a slightly awkward present from your redneck in-law. Like that's the start and stop of the horror that is this Christmas morning.
Yeah.
It's truly hellish. So
But more in depth into why it's not
more
hell.
in depth, and this is something that
Lizzie will steal the show again.
yes, and it's something that my friend Tyrantus Terror, I think we've talked about before. I'm not sure if you've ever actually linked his Tumblr because I'm not sure if those videos are out yet. So
What? Which one?
I think we've talked about it before. I know we have, but I'm not sure if you've ever actually linked to his Tumblr before because I'm not sure if the videos we've talked about him in have come out yet. So
Right. I think this one will be coming out first, so I'll link him.
yeah, and he's actually really good. If you like horror, go look at his blog because he does this thing where
And dinosaurs.
and dinosaurs and kaiju and stuff like that. So because he does this thing where it's like iconic characters from horror fiction where he goes through like different things, and he has this system called the four horrors, which he basically classifies all horror into 4 varieties, which is gothic, atomic,
How do you get in there? Chips! Chips, you know you can't be in there. What are you doing? No. My dog was in a gated off area.
we're not
and
sure
then-
how he did that.
and then as soon as I saw him, he ran out.
So he has his 4 horrors, which is gothic, which is like old school, like vampires, werewolves.
We definitely talked about him during the Over the Garden Wall one,
yeah.
which is Halloween, but it's not out yet.
So just go look at his blog. It's a good blog.
Yes.
And
I
he
just-
brought it up.
Fine, Jim.
And I think I may have read his review before I saw Krampus, actually, which I think was personally 1, why I wanted to see it, and 2, also what influenced my perception going into it,
I
where...
told you you were coming to see it with
Yeah.
me.
I know.
I was really excited about it, and I'm Jewish.
Yes. So, basically, at the end, while this scene is happening with the snow globe and you're paying back, the song that's playing is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, specifically at, like, a key point when they're panning back and show the snow globe. The line that plays is, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. So the way my friend, and now we interpret it is, they're not in hell, these snow globes are just the way Krampus monitors them. Krampus came, he punished, and now that the punishment is done, and like Max with something that's important, and I'll actually discuss it after this. So he came, he punished,
He wants to make sure his lesson's stuck.
yes. So that's basically it is. Like, he came, he punished, the punishment is done, now he's basically, I'm watching you to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Right.
Just like how Santa Claus is always watching you to make sure you're being good, Krampus is watching you to make sure you're being good.
Right. Did you want to say that thing, or can I
Um,
talk about the details of the movie now?
Let me read the thing from... He said, so... this is the quote from my friend, I prefer that second interpretation, the second interpretation being that Krampus is watching them, because it stays true to the spirit of the Krampus myth, which the rest of the movie sticks to as, well, the Krampus is a threat and a warning, yes, but not one that is necessarily carried out. Almost no child has ever been bad enough to actually warrant being dragged off to hell, and Santa, a person who loves children so much that he's dedicated his life to making them happy, would never allow that kind of injustice to actually happen. So, this is just a warning. Krampus didn't actually take them to hell, he would just warn them about what would happen should they lose the Christmas spirit again. Okay, now you can talk.
Okay, in terms of a horror movie, it's really good. This is the third time I've watched it. I really enjoyed it. And again, this is someone, I'm Jewish, and it's a Christmas movie. It's as much as it's a horror movie, it's also a Christmas movie. And I really enjoyed it. I'll probably watch it again. I own it now. Something that we were talking about. It's a horror movie. It's scary,
But it's fun.
it also can be. Yeah, it's enjoyable as much as it is scary. It's serious as much as it is funny. And it balances that really, really well.
So, like, a scene that's very suspenseful where like, one of the cousins is being, like, where, like, the family's being attacked by, like, the monsters can be a very tense and scary scene, but then it ends with, like, the alcoholic aunt shotgun shooting the cherub.
Yes. Hang on. Let me let the dog out, and I'll be back. Dimitri had to let the dog out. Another thing is, a lot of the monsters are creepy. Like, there's the Jack in the Box that has a huge mouth.
The Jack in the Box is basically like a snake, so like his bottom jaw like unhinges and he can swallow people whole.
And it looks terrifying. But then you have another one that's just evil gingerbread men.
Yeah.
And like, it balances this out really well, enough where it keeps the suspense high, so the stakes are always high. But you don't mind laughing at the gingerbread men. At the same time, you're like, wow, I hope they don't die from that. There's a part where, we'll talk about the snow in a second, there's a part, the elves also come in, and the elf design I'm not actually thrilled about, but I think it's a good design for them to have gone with. And at one point they take the baby.
Yeah.
And I told Lizzie in the middle of the movie when we first saw it, I said, if they take the baby, I'm leaving. I swear, I cannot stand things happening to small children. Like, really young children.
I can't stand things happening to animals, so.
They stole the baby!
They stole the baby. The baby dies. If you're working off the theory that they're trapped in hell, the baby fucking dies.
Yeah! It's awful. I was really upset. And even though the elves, they don't look that scary, the design is pretty simple and it's pretty ridiculous, but they kidnapped an infant! And the suspense is kept really high. The way it's shot is... everything's shot very well, too. A lot went into this movie. Like, it looks very good. There's some of the stupid CGI, like with the gingerbread men, it really doesn't look that great. But with the environment, it keeps it really well.
It also has a good build-up to what's happening. So what happens is Max tears up his letter to Santa, lets go of things, and then a blizzard hits. Like, a really bad blizzard that, like, knocks out the power, like, there's nothing on... There's no cars on the road.
Like, people shouldn't be leaving their houses, kind of blizzard.
Yeah. So, the dad and the uncle, worried about the teenage daughter who went over to her boyfriend's house, go over and they find the boyfriend's house completely and utterly trashed. And...
Which is the only thing I don't like too much, because it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's a matter of, like...
We're supposed to be focused on this family.
I think, because also, I'm going to guess what I was saying. I think it kind of goes back to a matter of, like, since a lot of innocent people do seem to, like, die in this movie, have no connection to this family, I feel like there's probably more evidence to the reset theory. So I think, like, I feel like Krampus probably has, like, free range, but it all gets reset in the end, so at the end it doesn't matter, and, like, no one's going to remember it when they wake up,
I think
except for this family.
The best theory for that, especially with reset, is knowing that they would go investigate. Krampus wanted to leave it trashed as a warning.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of, like, Krampus has, like, free range to fuck with this family any way he can, but everything's getting reset in the end, and anyone who, like, died in the process isn't really dead, and they're not going to remember it anyway, only the family's going to remember. So, at the worst case scenario for them, it's just going to be, like, a nightmare.
Or if you want to go with the hell theory, teenagers and adults don't have a ton of Christmas spirit. But the movie's paced very well. Like I said, the suspense is kept very well. The stakes are always very high, and everything. I don't know.
There's also a good.
At the point when people start dying, it's like, yes, this is the time when they would start dying. So it's all good.
That's ironic.
You want to talk about the snow?
No, I want to talk about something else.
Okay.
After the blizzard hits, while they're trying to figure out like what to do, like they're talking about going to the neighbors for help, but there's just like, oh, they're all like on vacation or like they don't like them. There are snowmen who appear outside their house, kind of like eerily human-looking snowmen, which reveals later when one of his cousins, Howie Jr., gets kidnapped. He appears outside the house as a snowman, which is the implication there is that the neighbors who are all missing were turned into snowmen as well, which I thought was like an interesting like setup and then payoff.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else were we gonna?
Snow.
Oh, snow. No, not yet. Something. We'll get to that. We'll get to that when we talk about like Krampus and his helpers.
Okay.
Something else where I mentioned before how Max says he's sorry. The grandmother, the German grandmother Omi, had something happen to her with Krampus too, and the implication with her story is that she didn't get her parents back. Is that Krampus came, took her parents, and then just left. And I think the reason why she didn't get her parents back is because she didn't learn her lesson.
I think it's a few things. Presumably, the time period that she's talking about is either
post-World War I Germany.
Either World War I or World War II.
I feel like World War I just because like everything's so desperate.
Yeah. But maybe I'm just trying to think timeline how old she would be then. So World War I, post-World War I Germany was awful. They had a huge depression. People were fighting over food, which is what they show in this flashback.
Like, she gets, like, a loaf of bread from, like, the bread line, and, like, people work it from her hand.
Like, I think part of the implication isn't just she didn't learn her lesson. They didn't deserve to come back. The situation in Germany had turned them into horrible people. And she may have been better off without them anyway.
Yeah.
But about that scene also, I mentioned this when we were watching it, that flashback is done in stop-motion animation. It looks very nice, actually. Or CGI meant to look like stop-motion animation. I don't know if it actually was stop-motion. It looks very nice. It does. A lot of things are using this now, where it'll be live action and then they'll go to an animated format for a flashback or for a storytelling. And usually it looks really good. I'm just noticing a high density of it now.
It's happening a lot,
so I'm getting a little tired of it. But
the counter argument to that would be, it usually looks pretty good.
It looks really good. I don't think I remember a time where they've done it and I'm like, oh, that looks awful. They should have gone back to live action. Every time I've seen it, it's looked amazing.
Like, an example that you're probably thinking of with this is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of another way they could have done the Deathly Hallows stories. The way they did the Deathly Hallows stories was pretty damn perfect.
Right, I think that one, if they did it live action, would have looked stupid. That's such a beautiful animation they did for this. This one, I think they could have done live action, and it would have been fine, and they probably could have kept the high stakes. I think one of the reasons they didn't, which I do support, and something else we talked about, the reveal of Krampus later is very nicely done, and I think they were trying to keep us from seeing too much of Krampus outright, and the animation style allowed for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has a big reveal where he comes down from the chimney and he slowly rises up, and we don't even see his face until way later, which I think is a benefit. And I think I always like it when the villain is revealed in a nice way instead of
we see him in glimpses. So like, I think initially someone, I think it may actually be the sister, is out in the blizzard and she sees like something jump from one rooftop to another.
Right.
And then like she's hiding under a car and she sees like hooves and chains, and like that's it. Like that's our first reveal of Krampus, is a shape and then hooves. Which, if you know anything about Krampus, you know he has hooves. You would guess the cloven feet.
But the first real good look at him we get is when he comes down from the chimney and he slowly rises up and they do that slow pan down.
The way he comes down from the chimney looks cool too, because like obviously when Santa comes down from the chimney, there's no like damage. He comes down from the chimney and it like destroys the wall above the chimney. Like, it looks like something with mass is coming down and breaking a chimney.
She's pointing to where my chimney is.
Yeah, the chimney over there.
It looks really nice, and I think part of the reason why the animation was a good call for this one is because it would allow them to show what happened in an artfully way and artistic way, and they'd be able to show Krampus without showing Krampus.
It also probably was partially budget, because
I don't know, animation could cost more.
Yeah, but doing it live action meant hiring another actress to play the young girl, hiring other extras, and also building a set for old Germany.
True. And they did already have animation people for... True. I don't know. Whatever the reason was, again, it looked great. I just noticed that it's being done a lot lately, and I'm always a fan of something new being done. But again, at the time this came out, it wasn't something that was being done a lot, so it's just my input. But yeah, continue. I forgot what we were talking about.
We're going to move on to Krampus and his helpers now, because you want to put the snow.
Yes, I want to talk about the snow, because I love that you said that.
Before we talk about the snow, though, do you want to do the helpers, or do you want to do Krampus first?
What else is there to say about Krampus?
Well, describe what his face looks like.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Talk about Krampus.
Okay, so the thing I like about Krampus's face, Dimitri is a huge fan of it, is Krampus's face looks like Santa, but as a corpse, kind of.
Yeah. I don't think that design was off. I think its execution in this movie was not good. It looked kind of like a Halloween mask.
Apparently, I think the creators confirmed that's supposed to be Krampus wearing a Santa mask.
I take it back then. That's what it looked like, though. It looked like he's wearing a Santa mask, like a messed up Santa mask. I think it would have been cool, either A, if we never saw his face, or if they gave him a more demonic look to his face. But if it is supposed to be him wearing a Santa mask, then that's exactly what it looks like.
But also, him giving him the face of Santa, I think, but like a twisted version of Santa, I think is supposed to also, because a lot of what he does is like a direct, counterpoint to Santa. Like, he comes down the chimney like Santa, but he destroys it doing it. Like, all his help, like, he has elves, but they're evil elves. Like, he leaves presents, but the presents attack you. So he's supposed to, especially in this movie, very clearly be the antithesis of Santa, not just a Christmas demon. Which I think is also why they gave him a face based on Santa.
Right.
To show, he's basically supposed to be the anti-Santa.
Yeah, I think it looks good. It just wasn't executed very well, and I don't know if that's he really is just wearing a mask, or they're a makeup artist, or it was a CGI thing. I just think it didn't look very good, and it distracted me from him being terrifying.
All right. So the helpers.
So we have the Jack in the Box, the elves,
the Jack in the Box, whose name is actually Der Clown.
Der Clown.
Der Clown. There's an evil teddy bear.
Who bites things.
Yes.
There's the robot.
Yeah, there's the demonic toys, there's an evil angel, because you're supposed to put the angel on the top of the tree. There's an evil one of those that, like, attacks and ends up getting shotgunned by the alcoholic aunt, which is amazing.
It was awesome. The gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man, there's 3 of them. I don't remember how they die. I know one gets eaten by the dog.
The other ones get shotgunned.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shotguns in this movie.
Because of the redneck.
And there's the snowman. And one of the things that happens towards the end, when everyone gets pulled into hell, is they get sucked under the snow.
Yeah, there's cases where, the snow sucks them under, or earlier it bites the redneck uncle on the leg. Like, whatever's under the snow bites the redneck on the leg.
Right.
And whatever is under the snow is the only thing that's never revealed in the movie. Every other monster gets revealed in its entirety at some point during the film. Which...
including Krampus.
Yeah, I saw a theory online that the reason why you never see the monster under the snow is because the snow itself is the monster.
Which I really, really like.
Everything that Krampus has, like I said, he's the anti-Santa. All of his helpers, everything he has is in some way associated with Christmas. Like, he has gingerbread man, he brings the toys, like, he has the angel on the tree, he himself is, like, kind of looks like an awful Santa. He has a sleigh, but instead of being pulled by reindeer, I think they're pulled by, like, officially they're listed down as, like, Yule goats.
Yeah.
So,
It's all Christmas related
Yeah,
stuff, and
so-
snow is a big part of what, especially the Western image
Of Christmas.
of what Christmas is.
So having the snow itself be a monster would actually be very cool. And it would
Right.
make sense why we never then see the monster under the
And
snow.
it's the first thing that appears.
Yeah.
The first sign of Krampus being there was
The
an
blizzard.
unruly blizzard. Is there a ruly blizzard? An extreme blizzard. So I just thought that was cool. All in all, it was a good movie. I would actually recommend it, even if you're not Christian.
It's a very good movie.
It's fun. It's scary as much as it is fun, which is not something that's easy to do, and I really enjoyed it.
The actors are all good. The family's very realistic. I don't know if we mentioned this, but at no point do you want the family to die. Like, there's a lot of horror movies
Right.
where, like, you don't care about the people and you're kind of just waiting for them to die because they're assholes. At no point do you want bad things to happen to
We
this
talk
family.
about this a lot in our horror corners. Horror movies, either you have to be invested in the life of the character, or you have to hate them so much you want them to die. Saw does the latter a lot. The Killer Mermaid tried to do the first and didn't do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you really care about them because they like we said earlier, they fight, but they're still a real family. They don't do anything that's like, wow, what colossal assholes! I want to punch that guy. They're just kind of dicks to each other.
We didn't talk about...
And then later, as soon as danger starts to happen, they're all protecting each other because they're a family.
Well, actually, we didn't talk about this. The reason why Max rips up this in the first place is because his two cousins get a hold of it. And they start reading it and kind of making fun of him for, like, writing a list back to... And there's
they stop making... Right.
They stop making fun of him because one of the things in his list is... It's, like, some sort of request of, like, his uncle to get, like, promotion or, like, for them to not have, like, as much money trouble. Like,
Yeah.
his wish is specifically a good thing for that part of his family. And that's
Right.
when they kind of stop and, like, it becomes awkward and
Right.
they sort of stop reading it. Because, like, Max, even though he doesn't necessarily get along with them all the time, he still very much cares about them.
He's a good kid. None of them are bad people. Like, they're nuts and they can be dicks to each other, but none of them are people that would wish any ill will towards anyone. Or at least, especially not towards each other.
Yeah.
Like you were saying when we talked about this earlier, I don't know if you said this now, when the danger started and they started to go out and do the danger things, they would, like, the mother would pass their kid onto the aunt and be like, alright, go with her. Well, they went and dealt with the problem. Like, you don't do that with people you wouldn't trust with your kids.
Like, when you mentioned it, when the daughter's out in the snowstorm at the thing's house, like, the uncle and the father both go out to go get her back, like...
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous. Like, at one point, the uncle... Because he kind of, like, gave the dad character a hard time. It's like, oh, you were in the Eagle Scout, what were you doing? Which, first of all, the Eagle Scouts are fucking tough.
They're intense, are you kidding me?
But he was kind of, like, making fun of him, basically kind of calling him, like, implying that he's, like, not a real man because he can't, like, protect his family. And, like, there's a scene later on where, like, because the dad, like, basically, like, barricades the house, like, he grabs, like, the uncle's guns and where the uncle's just like, I was wrong about you, like...
Yeah. They're not people that you hate. Like, even in the beginning, you don't hate them in the beginning. You're stressed because the family is stressed, but there's no other way. None of it's terribly malicious. It's all just normal family stuff, which is nice. And because you actually care about the family, it makes you enjoy the movie because you want them to get out of this. You're worried about them. And I've said this before in other horror corners. That's what makes a good horror movie. You either have to hate or love the characters. If you don't care about them, the movie's not good because you don't care about... You're not going to feel the tension of the situations or be scared of anything because you don't care.
Basically, in horror movies, you either need to sympathize with it so that you're afraid, or hate them so much that it's cathartic.
Like I said, Saw usually does a second.
If you don't do one of those two, you're not going to end up with a good horror movie.
Are you ever going to do the Human Centipede with me?
I'm not doing the Human Centipede with you. Surprisingly enough, I don't want to watch a movie where people are, like, sewn ass to mouth eating each other's shit.
I only watched it once and I don't want to watch it again. I told myself I was going to do a Human Centipede marathon. I finished the first one. I got 10 minutes into the second one. Was like, you know what? This isn't worth it.
Isn't the second one, like, not even as good as the first? And, like, the good first one's bad, but, like, the second one's, like, really bad.
Yeah, it's... The second one's about a guy who was inspired by the movie The Human Centipede to make a human centipede. Anyway, that's all we have to say about Krampus, right?
Mm-hmm.
This will be up soon.
It will be up soon. It will also be up with another video.
Oh yeah, this also has to be going up. This will be up. Hanukkah will be up.
And
Not
Yes.
Hanukkah, the holiday. I'm also gonna have a video about Hanukkah. Which surprisingly was not my... Krampus was my idea. The Hanukkah video was her idea. So, that's fine. And I'll have an announcement video up about everything, and then hopefully soon I'll be doing regular stuff. But in the next couple of weeks after this comes up, you'll see a lot of the stuff that was filmed in October, November going up, and like we'll be talking about Halloween and Thanksgiving. It'll clearly be October, November. And Rex. I was looking at your thing. And Chips will be there.
Alright. Bye.